I mean, how are they going to do this to us? How are they literally going to do this to us? How are they going to give us Escanor versus Estarossa? This is like one of the biggest matchups since a long while back, since we first saw like Escanor go against Gallon, and we ended up finding out how strong Escanor's power levels were and compared to who, and I was like, you know what, will they ever fight, or is Estarossa's fight going to be held off until we get to see Estarossa versus Meliodas? Now obviously we got to see Estarossa versus Meliodas, and it's the Meliodas as we then knew, who wasn't nowhere near strong enough to fight Estarossa. So we now get to see Escanor versus Estarossa, and this is a fucking matchup that I've been waiting for a long time. And that to the side, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Chris is Talking. And as you may have noticed, this is going to be my NANATSU NO TAIZAI chapter 184 manga review. Oh my god, literally, I'm speechless. Like, I was on a hiatus for a couple weeks, just took a break from manga reviews and stuff like that, and but I've still been keeping up with what's been going on in the stories of everything. So what a way to come back. I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna come back and see what's the first thing I pick up. And NANATSU NO TAIZAI happened to be released early yesterday, but I couldn't do it. I was busy yesterday, so I thought today I have to talk about it. It's sunny in London right now. It is emotionally sunny, so this is the perfect time to be talking about the sun god Escanor. Now if you may have noticed in the past few chapters, what you would have noticed is that we got more information about Estarossa and about Estarossa's power as well, and how that actually affects people around them. So in the previous chapter we got to see that if you have any hate towards Estarossa, then because he has like the commandment of love or something like that. It depends on what kind of translation is reading, but I read the translation where it said it's the commandment of love. So if you hate Estarossa, if you have any form of hate or negativity towards him, you can't move. And that's kind of fucked up, because it's like, you've seen what he's been doing. He's literally, as we may have kind of guessed, he's probably the Demon King's son as well, just like Meliodas. So it's like, he's not going around doing nice shit for you guys to like him. He's literally going around destroying shit, and you have to stay there and still love him so that you can fight him. And somehow that makes no sense, because when the Sins in the last chapter saw Estarossa, they were like fuming, especially Ban. Ban was like, what the fuck, I'm gonna take him out. Went forward, next thing you know, he can't move. Nobody can move, none of the Sins can move, and they're like, what the hell is going on? The commandments are in front of us, Estarossa is right there, and I can't do shit. And even though Ban knows his strength level is nowhere near Estarossa's, he still wants us to take him the fuck out. And yeah, well then what happens? We then get to see Escanor appear, the sun god himself, right in front of Estarossa, and Estarossa's like, oh, like, why can you move? And that's where Escanor has some of the best lines ever. I mean, how is he going to end up basically saying, and I quote, why would I hate someone beneath me who's weaker than me? Literally, Escanor just mocked it. Escanor literally took more steps right in front of his face, right in front of Estarossa's face, and just mocked it straight up, which where it leads on to this chapter here, and then continues on from that nice little confrontation between Estarossa and Escanor, and we actually get to see what personally may be one of the best fights in Seven Deadly Sins. Now, I was wondering who was going to land the first bang, and it was Estarossa. Estarossa landed the first bang. Boom, straight in front of Escanor's face. I was like, rah, Escanor gets taken up, Estarossa goes above him, punches him straight down. Does one of those like cliff destroying punches that they love doing in Seven Deadly Sins. If you think I'm mucking around, watch loads of the episodes of Seven Deadly Sins, and you get to see when Diane punched Meliodas down the rock, when Ban and Meliodas had a fight, and then basically, yeah, just that punch when the rock gets split in half. That's their favorite punches. But yeah, so that happens, and I was like, shit, all right, Estarossa's been taken down, like, oh shit. But come on, man, how little faith I had, because you then get to see Estarossa come up in the instant speed of God knows what, and at that instantaneous moment, right above Estarossa's head, there's a sun. So I don't know whether that's like a, how to explain it? I don't know whether that's like an image of the power that is Escanor about to come and land a wrath on Estarossa's fucking face, because literally it happened instantaneously. Estarossa managed to put his guard up, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. But Escanor punches through that guard and still manages to hit him. Now, if you manage to guard and still get hit, alright, you know what? And he got taken to his knees. Estarossa got taken to his knees. This was fucking emotional. Now, what I think was pretty cool is after that, we then get to see Estarossa's like, you know what, cool, I'll go a bit more serious, like, and he takes out one of his swords or knives or whatever it is, and it looks exactly like, oh, well, not exactly, it looks like one of the swords that Meliodas has. So I was pretty intrigued. I was like, what is this? And then Escanor goes to hit him again, and literally all you hear is like, and then you don't really hear anything because obviously I'm reading this, but in my mind I'm fucking hearing everything, and all you see is like the same slash movement, and right on Escanor's shoulder blade, he starts gushing out blood, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, wait, I've seen this before. And then it's full counter, but it's not exactly the same full counter as Meliodas, but it's the full counter that can counter physical attacks, whereas Meliodas' full counter could counter magical attacks. Now, for somebody who's fighting, well, for somebody like Escanor, that's not cool, because most of Escanor's abilities are bronze. This is like, I'm presuming, the highest point of the day at like midday or something, and Escanor was at his strongest, and he's looking to take out some bangs, but he's still doing this with no care in the world. Escanor literally doesn't care. He's calm about it. He doesn't see a reason to be hating someone who's weaker than him. And the gas that he brings up when he ends up saying, oh, where is that blood? Oh, and then he finds out that it was basically his own attack that made him bleed. He's like, I'm paraphrasing obviously because I don't have the fucking thing in front of me, so sue me. And he ends up basically saying about how, oh, only my attack could make myself bleed. I was thinking, ooh, Escanor, what the fuck are you doing, man? You literally don't care. And then obviously, so that's when he ends up saying to him, cool, if you're gonna be bringing out your strongest moves, let me get a bit more serious. And obviously we've seen Escanor get a bit more serious when he did that fucking sun nuke, when he wasn't at his highest form. So it's interesting to see when he does a sun nuke now, and some of his other magical abilities, because we've seen a few of the magical abilities, but the more through sins we get, the more information we get about people's magical abilities, and it's pretty interesting to see where that goes, especially people like Ban. We got to see Ban's extra magical abilities, like his the one when he was walking and then he went invisible, his stealth mode kind of thing. It's like, we've never seen that before, but he's had it. So maybe there's a few more things that Escanor has that he can use that against Estarossa, because this is going to be an interesting fight. I'm also interested to see how long this is going to last, because is it going to last to a point where it keeps on going, and then as Escanor gets weaker and weaker and weaker, Meliodas appears and ends up saving the day? Or is it just Escanor will hold his own for now, or Escanor will manage to take out Estarossa and then the rest of them will flee and get the power-ups? Because they still haven't mentioned if they've got their powers back, because when the 10 Commandments first came onto the scene, they mentioned that they're not at the strongest. They're not at the strongest. They're not at the peak. They're like 20% or something like that. They need to get stronger. So maybe this is a point where Escanor managed to take out the 10 Commandments, and then they end up fleeing for a bit, coming back with a vengeance. And when they come back, Meliodas is back, Escanor is there, and the rest of the sins have got their power-ups as well. Because fuck my life, Diane, she needs to get her memory back. King needs to fucking fix up. Dan, he's holding his own, but he needs some form of power-up or something. I don't know what's going to happen with him. And yeah, so let's see where this goes. What is it? There's a few other things that happen here and there. So that we got to see Zodorus? No, we got to see the other guy with the black hair, the short one. I forgot his name, don't have his name in front of me, sorry. And like he has the commandment of piety, so loads of the other guards and stuff, in another part of the city or wherever it's going on, end up seeing him and turning their back towards him. And then, but it turns out to be that if you turn your back against him, what happens is you then end up falling into a complete loyalty for him. And now I'm thinking maybe that could be the same thing that happened with the other characters who was it again? The Fairy King. When the Fairy King is on the demon, is one of the 10 Commandments. It's like, why? How could that happen? What will be the reason for this, considering we know their beef was so serious before? So it could be that maybe they turned their back against him and now they're in total loyalty to him. Same thing with the King of the Giants, turned his back towards him. Now they have total loyalty towards the Ten Commandments, and obviously they're really OP, so it's like not like they can't just get rid of them, they could actually use them. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go. I'm interested to see Meliodas come back and what Meliodas is doing with the Demon King, and Meliodas getting his powers back, because in the previous chapter we got to find out about Meliodas and his bloody power-ups and his 2 commandments and what happened. So 7 Deadly Sins has been on a rampage. I am so fucking excited about the series. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing these reviews regularly again. Like literally, I'm back on it. I just need to take a break because I couldn't manage to do my full-time work and it'd be banging out 5 to 10 videos a week. So I was getting kind of stressed. And then the whole thing with YouTube when the people lost subscribers and stuff like that. So it kind of stressed me out. But I'm back, so good times. If you liked the review, do like, share, subscribe. Mostly subscribe because I'd like to see more of you guys come back to my videos, check out more of my content. I have 52 other videos. They are from previous reviews and stuff like that, so it's not really that important, but it's more important for you guys to see my future works. My most recent video I actually did was how to get your friends into anime. Do check that out. I do think it's pretty interesting, and maybe you can take some notes for you guys who don't know how to introduce your friends or families or colleagues and stuff into anime, and I'll give a few hints and tips on like little names of series that could be really good for certain types of people. So yeah, hope you guys had a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed this chapter, enjoyed this review, and enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, Chris is talking, so peace.